is his skepticism towards legislation and policies that specifically encourage diversity. In particular, his staunch opposition to affirmative action in education and in hiring practices. Thomas honed his thinking on the whetstone of criticism he himself experienced at each stage of his education and career. Criticism that he was on the merits unqualified, but was only there because of the color of his skin. Thomas steadfastly maintains that affirmative action reinforces racism by minimizing the accomplishments of its beneficiaries, reducing even well-deserved achievements to charity and tokenism. Justice Sandra Day O'Connor, Thomas's former Supreme Court colleague, disagreed. She knew that her own nomination was the result of a campaign promise by Ronald Reagan to place the first woman onto the court. But rather than feeling insulted or belittled, she saw an opportunity to meaningfully change the world by advancing people's perceptions of the court, the law, the place for women in both of those, in ways that she simply could not do alone, and she succeeded. In the first of this week's double Torah portion, the Israelites again complain about the manna, calling it lechem haklokel, miserable bread. According to Rabbi Shai Held, part of why the Israelites did not appreciate the manna is because they resisted dependence, even dependence upon God. After centuries of servitude under Pharaoh, it's only natural that they craved the fulfillment that comes from self-sufficiency. But as Rabbi Held puts it, and I quote, "Religion is about many things. One of them is the aspiration to surrender the illusion of self-sufficiency. We need God and we need other people because we are human and therefore embodied and fragile. The question ultimately is not whether we will be dependent, but on whom. The Torah is in part a story about leaving destructive dependency and discovering life-affirming dependency as a radical alternative. There is a courage and a dignity in learning to say, 'I need you.'" Clarence Thomas's approach was instilled in him by his grandfather, Myers Anderson, who was born in 1907 and who experienced firsthand the brutality of Jim Crow-era Georgia. Like those Israelites just removed from slavery, he bristled at the thought of even apparent dependence upon others. But democracy itself, at its best, is a manifestation of what Rabbi Held calls the radical alternative of life-affirming dependency. Democracy is about recognizing not just our dependence, but our interdependence. Acknowledging our reliance on those around us is not a sign of individual weakness, but rather a sign of collective strength. Policies and laws that strengthen the collective benefit everyone. As we celebrate Independence Day weekend in a country increasingly polarized along political, economic, religious, and social axes, we must remember that our democracy itself is based upon the courage and dignity to look at each other and to say, "I need you." Shabbat Shalom.